OP09 is coming out next week, so I'll be making day 1 deck profile videos for each of the new leaders until the official release day. That means one video every day, and we'll end next week with an unboxing video for the OP09 booster pack. The purpose of this video is to share ideas for each deck strategies, their core cards, and deck builds. I'm not sure if the new card effects will be on screen, but I'll be sure to talk about them. Starting off with the first leader of OP09, we have Red Shanks. I have two builds to share. One is a pretty standard deck list, while the other one uses the Whitebeard package. So Shanks is a red hat pirate leader whose effect is during your opponent's attack, you can reduce one of your opponent's leader or character's power by 1k. This effect is similar to a 1k counter, especially during the early part of the games, and your opponent can no longer swing at you for 5k without its attack being reduced. Now let's move on to the first deck list. I'm running 2 Otama as a 2k counter. Then next we have 4 Searcher Uta that lets you search for a Red Hat Pirates card from the top 5 cards of your deck. Another thing to take note is she has the film trait, meaning your event card will not be able to help you to search for her because she's film and not Red Hat Pirates. And also remind me to make a Red Purple Uta video in the future. Next we have 4 Zoro. I think this Zoro is really good, especially in the early game. With your leader's ability, you can easily protect your Zoro from being attacked by your opponent's leader. For example, if your opponent swings 7 at Zoro, you can use your leader's effect to reduce it to 6k, then just counter that attack using one 2k counter. And I also play Zoro because there's not much you can do during your 3 dawn turn. Next is Hongo. He's the Tashigi version for red, a 2k counter and has the effect. You can rest this card and give one of your opponent's character minus 2k for this turn. So this card combos with your other removals in the deck, or you can just reduce the attack and then crash into them. Next is Lime Juice, another Red Hat Pirates 2k counter. His effect is on play, your opponent cannot activate blocker for cards with an attack of 4k or lower. So this helps you get through your opponent's Rebecca or even Borsellino and Sabo if you reduce their attack low enough. But I feel this card will mostly be in your hand for that 2k counter. Next we have Lucky Roo. I'm not disappointed with this card because it's really strong for a blocker. His effect is on KO if your leader is Red Hat Pirates, KO one of your opponent's card with 6k original power or less. This card alone potentially is able to stop 2 attacks, especially if you're going up against Blue Doffy, and it can even KO your opponent's Lucci if it gets killed by its effect. And I think this card is the core card of a Red Hat Shanks deck. Now moving on to the next blocker, we have Silver's Rayleigh with 6k power. His effect is on play if your opponent has 2 characters with 5k original power or more, draw 2 cards and discard 1 card. This card is essentially similar to Queen. You don't usually get to play this effect on curve unless you're playing against blue who just dropped their Jinbei. But aside to that, you usually drop this on your 6th down or higher turn or towards the late stage of the game where the opponent's board usually has more than 5k or more character power. And this card is okay, but I'm still iffy on it in this deck. But for the standard list that we are going through right now, I think 4 is fine. Next we have Yasop, a really strong red generic support card. His effect is on play, give your leader plus 1k until the end of your opponent's next turn. His on attack effect is Dawn 1, give minus 1k to one of your opponent's character. This can combo really well with your removals in the deck, or you can just attack into something, reducing it by 1k and just crash into it. Next we have 4 Band Bagman. On play, trash one of your opponent's 6k or lower character, which conveniently gets rid of your opponent's Borsellino and even cards protected by Sabo because it's not KO. An overall good card is like playing Jet Pistol with a body but better, and he even has a 1k counter. So definitely include this in your Shanks deck. Now we are moving on to the bosses of the deck. I'm playing 4 Silver's Rayleigh. This card is both an offensive and defensive card. It lets you KO a 3k or lower power character and able to give the attack reduction during the opponent's turn, making it easier to guard when paired with your leader's effect. I can see this spot being replaced by Dragon in this deck list, opting for a more aggressive approach, but Silver Rayleigh is really good because you can pair it with Yasop and even Hongo for that attack reduction and KO effect. The last character of the deck is 10 Shanks. Effect is all of your opponent's character minus 1k during either player's turn, and it has Rush. So another really strong generic boss character for red, and that is all for the characters. I can see an argument for including the 10 cost film Shanks, but I feel that Shanks belong to a more controlled variant. Because this is the standard version of the deck, I'll not include it in this deck. And for events, we are playing Bad Mana Kick cost. Reason why I'm not playing Radical Beam is when you drop Shanks, you don't have that 1 Dawn up. So I think Bad Mana Kick cost is a better option instead. And I am playing 4 of this Red Hat Searcher. So just a reminder, you cannot search Uta with this event. Next, I'll move on to the Whitebeard variant. This deck has consistent removals in the form of 7-cost Whitebeard from the starter deck. When paired with Red Force, which if your leader is a Red Hat Pirates, you can rest this, give one character minus 1k. Then you get to kill something with 6k or lower power when paired with the Whitebeard. And this Whitebeard also works well with Hongo as well, because you can just rest, give something minus 2k and then remove it. Next is 9-cost Whitebeard. It's really good, especially with Shanks' ability. This makes it really tough for the opponent to attack the leader the turn you play Whitebeard out. So when you play Whitebeard, your leader becomes 7k, and then if your opponent wants to attack into you, they either need to attach 2 dons to hit 7k, or if they are afraid you're going to use the leader's effect, then they need to attach 3 dons, making it really tough for them to distribute their dons. So this is just a day 1 deck idea, so it might evolve into something better or not. Other considerations for this deck includes Rayleigh itself and maybe building Snake. So this deck also has more sticky characters like the Ace and the Marco compared to the first list. So that is all for my day 1 deck profile for Shanks. Let me know what you think of the list, and are you interested in playing Shanks in OP09? Shanks will be the first deck that I'm testing for OP09, and I hope it's good. Any new updates on the deck, I'll be sure to update it over on my Twitter account. And again, tomorrow's upload will be for the Lim leader, so keep a lookout for that. If you've enjoyed this video, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, share it to your friends, and leave a comment. And also follow me on Twitter or X for more One Piece card game content. And as always, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.